I think we're in a little bit of strife where the government starts dabbling into how you, into various asset classes and dictating how you need to invest. Well, you just throw your hands in the air, because in the suburb, in that particular council, there's a high proportion of renters.
Yeah.
Because of just the demographics and the nature and the how that particular area is.
Yeah.
So you're now doubling the rates, which causes lots of sales, and the people renting are not the ones that are actually going to be able to afford, for all the reasons we've talked about. So those homes, all of those people then get displaced.
We're talking about legacies and memories and how important they are, and our disposable society these days. With housing and property investments and things, what's it like with young people who want to get into the industry but finding it very difficult? What is it that they can actually do to get the support they need to manage to get one property, and once they've got that established, then they can maybe, if they want to, have a property portfolio, they can then start their portfolio. Talk to us about that, how that can happen.
So that's a very multifaceted answer for that. Because one of the issues I see for anyone looking to buy a home is that they may not necessarily have the deposit.
Yes.
So anybody renting, in the eyes of the bank, that's something that's called, what's the name of it?
Let me see. So they can see that they're consistent renters.
It's a forced saving. That's what it's called. Forced saving. They can see. So anybody renting a home has to pay their rent every week or a fortnight or whatever.
Or a month or whatever.
That's right. And so anybody then looking to buy a home, when they're going to a bank or a mortgage broker and looking to get approval for that, they take that into consideration as forced savings, insofar as, let's say you're paying, I don't know, what are you paying? $600 a week, let's say, right? So you're having to find that $600 a week to pay to rent where you're renting. So they go, okay, we know that they are already doing that. So the issue I see that I don't think people really discuss very much is that it's not a serviceability issue per se for a lot of people. It's the fact that they haven't got the deposit saved up, which is why the governments have these various grants where you can buy things on a 5% or a 2% and so forth, which is all well and good. However, what tends to happen with any of these schemes is that, and this has happened since, I remember when the first one I remember was back in 2001, and it was a $7,000, that first home buyers got given a $7,000 grant. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The market just jumps by that. Yeah. It immediately gets soaked up. So right now there's various bits and pieces. You've got state ones, you've got federal ones, where it's up to 950,000, one of them that's going around. So it means that it's a race to 950. So if you have 951,000, you're cutting everybody else out.
Right.
So the problem that gets created here is that the market just lifts.
Yes.
Price-wise.
Yes.
So I see why the governments do all these bits and pieces. But like I'm saying, it's a multifaceted thing. So for the person that's renting to try and find something to get into, oftentimes no one's going to talk to them. Either the banks are going to say, well, you don't have a deposit. And if you flip it over and the bank wants, I suppose, some skin in the game per se, otherwise someone is just paying. So maybe there needs to somehow be some way that someone with good serviceability and a strong saving history, and they're renting and they've not defaulted or anything on their paying their rental, they're paying it week in, week out, that should account for something. Yeah. Or mean something. Yeah. That it doesn't have to be that you need a 5% deposit.
Yeah.
Because what are we're talking about, and with the way the things are at the moment, with the cost of living and just the environment at the moment, and with interest rates, they've just gone up again.
When did they go up again? Just
the last time they met was in February.
That's right. Yeah, well, weren't they threatening that they were going to go up again after that?
Yeah, they're saying that they're going to go up again.
Yeah, and that puts people on the bones of their backside when those interest rates go up.
I guess it's traps and tripping up the unwary is that you, as a renter, you pay your water bill for the water you use.
Yep.
When you own the home, you're also paying for connection, like you've just said.
Yeah.
So your water bill goes up. Your if there's an owners corporation, you're now paying that as well. And one of the big things that have gone up and have been increasing over the years are insurance.
Yes.
And it seems to be, even though there might be something going on in another part of the world, another part of the country, they smooth it across everybody. So everybody
gets it.
Yeah, the rising tide floats all the boat, you know what I mean? So some of the insurances, the owners corporation fees, and this is often a type of home that somebody starting out is needing to buy because they may not be able to afford the big house on the larger block that doesn't have owners corporation or body corporate, is that those are not going down because of the two biggest fees are the management, but it's insurance. Insurance fees are going up. And
so if you've got two townhouses connected, sitting on the same property, they're affected by all of this, the insurance, are they?
Well, an owners corporation comes in when there's three.
When there's three,
not two, but I have seen, whether it's two, they've taken insurance to insure the driveway for public liability. So it can even, that would be amongst the owners to decide that, but it's three or more on a block, the owners corporation kicks in. You do have inactive ones, which are much more affordable, but if it's just like $800 a year, that's not too bad. But we were looking at property for a client and she said no because it was $3,500. We couldn't see what they were doing other than insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, that's really, really expensive because I suppose the issue where you buy into a property that has an owner's corporation, you've got it for as long as you own that property.
Yeah.
And it's not just you and your voice, it's everybody else that owns within that
area.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they all decide and meet and so forth, and particularly where you've got apartment blocks and so forth. And often you'll never get a quorum because you won't get half the owners showing up at the owners corporation meetings.
Yeah.
So it's just something to very much be aware of. So in relation to your original questions, like how does a first home buyer get into the market?
Yeah.
When I talk to clients, I say there's usually three things. There's the type of home, there's the suburb that's in, and the price.
Yeah.
Now generally the price is the thing that the budget doesn't move for the client.
Yeah.
So it comes down to the suburb and the type of home.
Yeah.
So if you want a particular type of style of home, size of home, etc., you will have to go to a suburb where you can afford that. Or if you want to be closer in, then you might have to compromise on some things.
And lifestyle, I mean, you know, you can purchase something, you know, and then everything can go wrong. Like interest rates go up, insurances go up, something might happen, you know, all the cost of living is going up and all that sort of stuff.
Cost of food at the moment.
Yeah, and all that, it's all contributes to it. And there's a lot of stress in that for people, isn't it?
Very much so.
The emotion of going to bed every night and thinking, do I have to sell my home? Will I get what I need for it so that I can move somewhere? Because a lot of the time their mortgages are far higher than the amount of money they'll get back for it to be able to go and get something else. So there's a high emotion there, there's a lot of stress.
Yes.
And, you know, you can work more, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to compensate for the lack of being able to hold on to a home.
No, and home represents your sense of security.
Yep, but now I'm going to ask you, is it an asset or a liability?
That is a very interesting question. So people talk, I think it was Kiyosaki talked about that your home is a liability.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can necessarily approach everything just from a financial perspective.
Yeah.
Because have a think about the peace of mind you get where you know that it's your little slice of the world.
And you can do whatever you want with it.
You can do whatever you want and you control it.
Yep. Investment properties, I mean, you're looking at investment properties now that people are renting out, utilising those investment properties for their superannuation for when they retire. A lot of people are selling them now because they can't afford all the interest rates and everything else that is ridiculously going up. And I've heard people, you know, talking on radio that they're so upset this was their retirement and they have to sell it because they can't afford to keep it, even though they've got someone in there renting, paying for it. But there are on costs to that as well, aren't there? Because there's maintenance.
I talk about this all of the time because it's not just one single thing.
No.
And I know that some renters have certain opinions about landlords and about, they bought it back in 1992 and they only paid $82,000 and they're making just... It's not that cut and dry. It is not that simple because the statistic is something like 70%, 75%, these are from the ATO, of people that own just one investment property are your mums and dads.
Yeah.
So it's the folks that you've just said. So maybe because their accountant suggested they do it, or they wanted to have something possibly to leave their children, right, their kids. So they've gone and they've bought a property.
Yeah.
Now, it's like how they keep moving the goalposts on superannuation.
Oh, yeah, gosh.
And there's a runway, right? You're this age, there's your superannuation, and you've planned what you're going to do. And then they move it over here. You run out of runway to course correct.
Yes.
You don't have the years left to actually now do what is going to achieve what you thought you were achieving based on where the rules were then. So if we apply that to real estate, they're doing the same thing because people might have bought the property and it's been chugging along nicely and they've had a fabulous tenant in there paying and everybody's happy and so forth. And then all the taxes come.
Well, yeah, that's
which we've talked about. So the pool for renters is getting smaller and smaller, and basic supply and demand says when there's more demand than supply, prices go up.
Yeah.
And yes, in any type of thing, you'll get the gouges and people not doing the right thing. But in most cases, people are doing the right thing. The reason that rents are going up is because they're just trying to hang on to the house.
Yes, yes. And because the rents are going up, and they usually go up annually.
Yes.
And they go up because of all the interest rates and everything that have been happening over the last year or two. I mean, you look at Airbnb and what they've done with the Airbnb. People buy a property to Airbnb it, and now they're being penalised, 7.5% or something on every time someone goes in there. It's ruining people's lives.
I think we're in a little bit of strife where the government starts dabbling into how you, into various asset classes and dictating how you need to invest. Well, you just throw your hands in the air because in the suburb, in that particular council, there's a high proportion of renters.
Yeah. Because
of just the demographics and the nature and the how that particular area is. Yeah. So you're now doubling the rates, which causes lots of sales, and the people renting are not the ones that are actually going to be able to afford for all the reasons we've talked about. So those homes, all of those people then get displaced. Yes. Exactly where are they expected to go?
I don't know. And then that's the whole thing.
This is not, they're not
you
not
even
go,
considering.
Hello, McFly. They're not considering it.
So how do you get that across to the government to understand that they're not logically thinking about the long-term consequences of what they're applying right now?
Well, I think that is the question. Like, how do you? Because I watch real estate very closely and I see all of the little, if you talk about real estate as a big bowl of popcorn, I see them dropping all the pieces in. Yeah. And people might see one piece going in and they go, oh, whatever. But I'm just looking at all of it. So the most recent one is the unions came out and said they want to cut capital gains tax discount from 50% to 25%. Right? Because they're saying, oh, well, workers deserve to be able to own a home, etc. They're not understanding the fundamentals of a real estate market, and it's not just one thing.
No.
It's a multifaceted, very finely tuned ecosystem, and you cannot just change. So you move one piece on the board and you think, oh, that's gonna solve it. So in relation to the governments, I don't know, despite what they might say, that they necessarily have anyone else's best interests at heart other than themselves.
So it's the end result that they need to look at first and then work back from that.
They do. They need to look at that end result.
Yeah.
However, with a government which only has a certain amount of time that they're appointed for.
What I think needs to happen, and the Liberals, the Labor, the National Party, or whomever it is, they're all working for the same thing. They all want the power. And most of the time they're not really interested in, I'm stepping out here, not really interested in what the results are, the consequences of people and all the surroundings, and spent millions of dollars, millions and millions of hours on a project, and I could name one, but I won't, and new government comes in and it's gone.
Yes.
Gone. And what happens? Nothing. Whereas what needs to happen when governments change and there's a project being worked on, they need to step in and keep it going. That's logical. That's common sense. But they don't have common sense.
They don't have common sense. And I was just thinking, maybe there needs to be some type of legislation in place that if this is, let's say it's the housing affordability or giving people housing or the whole real estate thing, baton, that they make a commitment that each of them will pass it on and maintain that commitment. But the issue is, you could legislate it, but the people coming in are the ones that legislate and change the legislation.
What's the emotion for people in real estate when they see things not happen for that particular person, particularly when you've worked hard for it and then it falls through?
It's very, very disappointing on the buying side. So often people will, real estate is very emotional.
Yes, it is.
And on the buying side, we see at auction, you will see the emotion. And I can watch a crowd and I can say, go, you've hit your limit, and they keep bidding. And you want to say, stop.
Because it is emotion, isn't it?
And it's really emotional.
And that's why you need an advocate with you to, work with you so that they can say stop now and support you through the process and understand and educate them to say that when it gets to a point that you can't do it anymore, you have to stop.
That's right. We set our budget before.
Yep.
We'll have done all of our due diligence.
Yep.
To work out where we feel that home is valued at.
Yep.
And you might have a little bit of emotional price there, but you've got to go, that's it, that's your stick in the sand.
Yeah.
And we don't bid anymore.
Auctions are a really interesting thing. I love, when I go walking with my little dog and we go walking past properties and it's an open home, I think, oh, I'm going to go and have a look at that. I'm just for curiosity because I like looking at them. And I'll walk in and leave the dog outside. Sometimes you have to take your shoes off. I'm thinking, oh, damn, I have to take my shoes off. Don't want to do that, but anyway, I will. And I'll walk in and they take your name and your number and then they send you a message a week later or whatever to say, are you interested in buying the property? Even when you've had a conversation with them and say, well, it's $20 million and I don't have $20 million, blah. But they still do it anyway.
They do, because it's an opportunity. It's an opportunistic industry.
Yeah. It can be fun when I'm not involved in selling or buying. It's just fun looking at it and watching people.
It is fun. I say auctions are my offer because that's obviously... But mind you, the number of houses that I haven't been to bought an auction. Well, actually, the one that got passed in the other week. But prior to that, I hadn't bought an auction since about November because it's all off-market or negotiating. But I love auctions, and so the rules are you're not allowed to interfere. But you see someone, they're going... You want to walk up to them and say, look, you're clearly over your budget, you need to stop bidding because you're going to regret it. But you can't. You're not allowed to.
Yeah, there's a commitment there, isn't there? Once you've committed, you can't really get out of it.
Oh, no. Well, no, that's why, when the bidding goes along, da-da-da-da, and then...
They go in and have it.
They go in, they usher you in, they don't touch you, but they usher you in really quickly because until you actually sign, you can walk. But I will say auctioneers are quite funny. The good auctioneers are very funny, and I'm the only one standing there laughing at their jokes. Everyone else there was like...
To be an auctioneer, you have to be good at your job. You
have to be good. There's crappy ones, like anything.
Yeah.
But a good auctioneer is actually very entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say, Wendy, to someone who was selling a property and someone who was buying a property? What sort of tips would you give them?
The same person?
No, can be different people or can be the same person.
Because we work with lots of clients that are buying and selling at the same time. Because that's another.
Okay, well, let's do the same person first, and then let's do a different individuals.
So if you're buying and selling, because you might be either upsizing or downsizing, and then you need to buy some other home, the most question that I get asked about that is, do I buy or sell first?
Yeah, okay.
And it is very much a personal decision. It can, to some degree, depend what a market is doing. Because if a market is going up, you sell first, the market might outrun you, you may not be able to buy. So you might be better to buy first and then sell, and you'll often get more for your price.
Right.
If it's the other way, well then, if you bought something and then took ages for you to sell, then you might be a bit snookered with bridging loans and that kind of thing.
And bridging loans can be quite expensive.
They can be very expensive. So it depends on the personal circumstances of the person, and what I will say to my clients is, do you have somewhere to go?
Yeah.
Because if you need to sell because you want to buy, because you want to downsize or upsize or whatever, then if you've got nowhere to go, you can't sell your house and then buy something else, and because you've got nowhere to live. Because not everybody has friends or family or things.
Where you can go and stay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why it becomes a very personal decision. So we, clients do both.
Yeah.
And I always have the conversation and I will never ever push a client to sell. If they don't want to sell, I'll say, we just won't sell your house.
And it's a choice, isn't it?
It's very much a choice, and it needs to be a choice. And an agents don't always make it a choice. So
but it is.
Because they don't get paid unless the house sells.
Yeah.
We don't get paid either, but I'm not prepared to push someone into a situation that there is going to really, if there's stars in the eyes, that's going to make your home buying journey longer. And
But isn't that part of the fun?
What's that?
Of, buying something and then changing it till you get to where you want to be, or, renovating.
Yes.
It, and then being able to sell it and then go to the next property and doing the same thing. I mean, that's a journey in itself.
It is a journey, and I say if somebody buys something that needs a little bit of a work, etc., you live in the home and see the flow of the home.
And you get a feel for it.
You get a feel for the home. Because what you think, you might go on paper, I'm going to do all these things, and you live in it for 12 months, 2 years, and you go, well, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. I'll do this.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had those thoughts about our own house.
Yeah, well, yeah. And there's always things that you might think you want to do, but then you will change them, because when you've got the feel of the place, there are different things that you want to do with it.
There are. And you might leave things as they are. You might move things that you weren't going to change. It just depends.
Yeah.
But we'll often have a client come to us where they've tried it themselves, and they're getting outbid all the time, or they don't trust or feel they can trust what the real estate agent is saying to them, with good reason a lot of the time. Because the very interesting thing when we started doing vendor advocacy is the agents tell you all the things they do. So when they're telling you one thing on the buying side, you don't always know if they're telling you the truth, because they're not always telling you the truth. And I know that because they tell me what they're doing on the other side. So that was quite an eye-opener to see that.
Thank you, Wendy. It's been very insightful, and I think there's more conversation coming. I'm Faye Waterman. This has been Conversations with Faye, and I'll be back next time with another conversation. It's bye from me for now. Hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Changing lives, one conversation at a time.